All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Christine Hull. I'm the founder of the MAWB Network. Excited to be here with you today on this gray, chilly day in December. We have Donna with us today, who is the CEO of CEO Amplify, and she's going to be our facilitator today. Donna helps small business owners get out of the weeds, which I think we're all there. We all wear so many hats and we try to accomplish so many things. And maybe I'm speaking for myself here, but the squirrel syndrome needs to stop. I think it's a combination of I want to do so many things and everything looks so exciting, but also I'm speaking for myself here, a little bit of menopause brain where I'm dealing with a little bit of fogginess. And anyway, I'm excited to be here today and to listen to Donna talk about out of the weeds, how to reclaim your time and step into your CEO role. And I'm going to let her to explain the session. She'll do it justice. I'm sure she's got it all set up here, but super excited to see how we can better serve ourselves in the new year and get out of employee mode and into CEO mode. So thanks for being here with us, Donna.
Thank you, Christine, and welcome everyone. Thank you for taking a little snippet out of your day today for this Lunch and Learn. This is going to be interactive, so feel free to jump in the chat, or if you want to come off mute and ask a question or make a point, go ahead. I don't want this to be me lecturing to you by any means. So Christine did give me a warm introduction. Thank you. Yes, I'm fairly new to MAWB and I've been enjoying it so far. I haven't made it out to the in-person ones, but hoping to come to the Christmas dinner, so that should be fun. So yes, I'm the founder of CEO Amplify, also the podcast host of the same name, CEO Amplify, and I'm really a strategic partner to small business owners who really feel like they have to double themselves or clone themselves just to keep up. And I'm sure we've all had days where we wondered, how are we going to get through all of this? So today we're going to be focusing on how you can reclaim your time and fully step into your CEO role. So first, I want to start off by actually asking you a question. What's the number one priority in your business right now? What's the one thing that would actually move the needle forward the most? And for accountability, I'd love it if you want to go into the chat and throw your idea in there. Again, there's no shame. Just imagining we're sitting across the table from each other and I asked you this question. What would be your answer? Oh, I hope you feel better soon, Helen. Reliable staff. Yes, large brand partnership. Digital products, staffing. I need an admin. Yes. The clone of myself. Good. Client deliverables. Wonderful. Okay. So now that we know what our number one priority is, I want you to humor me and go look at your calendar. Is it there? When you look at your calendar, do you have time carved out for that number one priority this week, next week, maybe in January? Is it even in your calendar?
No.
You can just shake your head or put the answer in the chat. And I'm guessing for most of you, the answer is no. And I was in the exact same spot. I had goals, I had priorities, but they weren't in my calendar. I was doing everything else but my priorities. And if you're like most business owners, this is the truth. We wake up every day, we have a massive to-do list. We're convinced that if we just work a little bit harder and a little bit longer, everything will eventually fall into place. But with me, what happened was I was constantly busy, but rarely working on what actually mattered. My days actually felt like this hamster wheel. Emails, notifications, random tasks, reacting to everything that came my way. So when we start our business, we are doing all the things, right? And it's all the things. We know this. We're building offers. We're handling client delivery. We're writing emails. We're doing social media. Everything is on our shoulders. But the problem is we're not necessarily doing the right things. So I believed for a long time that hustle was the answer. I thought if I just worked harder, I just pushed through a little bit longer days, I kept grinding, that success would eventually follow. And for a while on the outside, it looked like I was doing everything right. But on the inside, I was completely drained, right? I'd end my 12-hour days wondering, what did I even accomplish? Because somehow, even after checking 100 things off my list, the important tasks, the things that would actually move my business forward, those things that you just identified a minute ago, they were being untouched. And I'm sure you've had a day like this, or weeks like this, or maybe you're in the same boat right now. And for me, it wasn't just me who noticed. My friends and my family started asking, where have you gone? Right? I'd miss dinners, I'd cancel weekend plans. And so when I was physically present, my mind was still caught up in my work. I was there, but I wasn't. And so what I realized was that I was building a business, I was building a burnout machine. And something had to change because I was never going to be able to grow my business if I kept running it like a 24/7 job. And I've seen this play out over and over in other business owners too. This constant busyness, the reactive work, that feeling that never truly moving forward, even though you're working harder than ever. So today I want to dive into that. By the end of today's session, you're going to walk away with clear steps on how to reclaim your schedule, make space for growth, and to really start showing up like the CEO that your business needs. Yes, I did say CEO. I hope you caught that. Because whether you are a solopreneur or a team of 10, you are the CEO of your business. So, why do so many of us end up in this trap of feeling stretched and overwhelmed? It's not because we're not working, but we're not seeing the progress that we want. And the problem starts with how we're spending our time. It's not just about working long hours or being busy. That's really the surface level problem. The real issue is how we approach our time and energy. Because I can almost guarantee that most of us here didn't start our business thinking, great, let me work nonstop and run myself into the ground, right? That's not the reason why we started. We started because we wanted freedom, freedom to do the work we love, to call the shots, to make the decisions, and to spend time with the people that we actually care about. But what ends up happening? Well, we get down to our desk and we open our laptops in the morning. We're ready to conquer the day. And what's the first thing we do? We check our email. There's 50 or 100 messages sitting there waiting for us. And we scroll through some. We maybe answer a couple because it'll be real quick. And we leave the rest sitting there because we need to come back to it later. And then we look at our phone. Oh, there's a few notifications waiting for us. So naturally, that dopamine hit, we tap into those. And before we know it, Slack is pinging. Maybe our team needs answers. Our clients have questions. And before we know it, it's 2 p.m. and we haven't touched the priorities that we woke up thinking about. I'm sure this sounds familiar. So here's what's wild about all of this is we know what we're doing isn't working, but we do it anyway. Why? Because it feels urgent, because it's what's screaming at us for the most attention. We're stuck in what I call reactive mode. We're putting out fires, we're answering messages, we're doing what pops up in front of us instead of actually focusing on what matters. So I'd like to hear from you. What's one task that eats way too much of your time each week? Have a think and then drop it in the chat. Admin, yes. Email. Another emails, right. Partnership debt, social media. And none of those things were what you ladies said were your priorities at the beginning. Your inbox, yes. Social media, admin. All of these things are admin tasks, and we're going to get into this a little bit as we have our discussion today. So the truth is, and this might be a little bit uncomfortable to hear, but your business will never grow beyond the time and energy that you're willing to invest in leading it. So I don't mean being involved in the day-to-day work. I mean leading it like the CEO, setting the vision, making strategic decisions, and using your time with purpose and intention. And the problem is, most of us don't start our business thinking like a CEO. We start hustling and scrambling, trying to get clients and handling everything ourselves because we have to. But then we stay stuck in that reactive mode, putting out the fires and responding to whatever comes up. So you can't move your business forward when you're only reacting. You have to flip that script and start being proactive and guiding your business toward the future that you want to create. So this is where the CEO shift comes in. It's really about claiming your role as the CEO of the business, even if you're a solopreneur or you're leading a small team. It doesn't matter. You're still responsible for vision and strategy, not just checking boxes off your task list. It's about believing that you don't have to do it all. And in fact, doing it all is keeping you stuck in the weeds. So when you make this shift, this is when everything starts to change. You start asking better questions. Where am I actually needed? What tasks do I really have to touch? And which ones can I let go of? How am I using my time right now? And how do I want to be using it instead? You stop being reactive and start being intentional. So think about this for a minute. What's one CEO level task that only you can do in your business? You can't automate it. You can't get rid of it. You can't delegate it. It has to be something only you can do. So you can drop it in the chat if you want, or you can just keep it in your thoughts. We're going to come back to that shortly. So this shift, this CEO mindset shift, isn't about never getting interrupted or having the perfect stress-free day, because let's be realistic, we know that doesn't exist. It's about deciding that your time is valuable and protecting it fiercely. It's about designing your schedule so that you're spending time on those high-impact activities, those things that actually move the needle in your business. And when you're able to do that, that's when you start showing up as the CEO. And your business starts reflecting that shift, because you can then make clearer decisions about, yes, this fits, this is I'm going to do, or no, thank you, but that doesn't fit with, that's not aligned right now. You feel less overwhelmed and growth starts to feel possible again. So one of the biggest traps is not being clear on our priorities. And you might think that you know what they are, but when you actually look at your schedule, like we did earlier, it tells a different story. Instead of spending time on those high-level strategy and the projects that drive your growth, your calendar is full of client emails, admin work, and putting out fires. And to be fair, it's not entirely our fault. It's really easy to get stuck in the little things because they feel urgent. But when our day is filled with busy work, then there's no room for that meaningful growth. And some of you may be sitting there and thinking, right, but some things that I've tried to, pass off or automate or something, it's just faster if I do it myself. Maybe you've tried to hire someone before, right? But training them takes time, and it looks like it was more trouble than it was worth. Or maybe you're worried that that person you hire will mess it up, and so you're going to have to go back and do it yourself anyways. But doing everything yourself is the fastest way to burn out. You can't grow a business if you're the one doing every task, the big tasks and the small ones. And for some of us, this was me for sure, perfectionism plays a role. A lot of business owners get stuck thinking, I'll delegate this as soon as I have the perfect system mapped out. And so we spend weeks, months, maybe even longer trying to document every little tiny detail instead of handing it off and letting it evolve over time. Waiting until it's perfect keeps us stuck longer. So if any of this is sounding familiar, unclear priorities, doing it all yourself, getting lost in the idea that things have to be flawless before you let them go, I want you to know you're not alone. But there's good news. When you start shifting out of these patterns, you free up so much time and headspace, brain space to actually work on the things that matter. And when you start showing up as a CEO, your business also shows that. So let's dive in now into the 5 steps to help you reclaim your time, really focusing on what matters and to be able to run your business with purpose and intention. All right, so step 1. It sounds a little abstract, right? CEO level work, but it's really the tasks and projects that moves your business forward. It's not putting out the fires. It's not checking your inbox. It's not tweaking your website for the 10th time. It's really thinking strategically, setting the direction for your business, and making decisions that have a long-term impact. So it's, in simple terms, it's the kind of work that only you can do and the work that makes the biggest difference to your bottom line. So if you think back to that thing that said, what I asked you, what takes so much of your time? And there were things like emails, setting up invoices, admin work. And so if you look at this pyramid, those things that are taking most of our time are down at the bottom. And I refer to those as admin and customer support. Those are what I call $10 tasks. That doesn't mean you're getting paid $10 to do them, or you would pay someone $10 to do them. But it's really just a framework to help us see that those higher level tasks, that top little corner in the pyramid, that's where we want to be spending our time as CEO. So we actually want to flip this pyramid upside down so that we're spending most of that time on that high value tasks. So I remember working with one of my one-on-one clients, and as we were going through this process, she's a service provider and was completely buried under the day-to-day of running her business. She thought she was being productive because she was busy all the time, right? I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. But when we actually broke it down, most of what she was doing was low impact tasks, answering emails, managing client scheduling, following up on invoices. As you can see here, none of that is CEO work, it's admin work. And yes, it has to be done, but I question, does it have to be done by you? And so when my client realized this, it was really an eye-opener for her, because then she was able to shift her focus. She started carving out time for business development, building those strategic partnerships, creating new service offer, positioning herself as a premium provider. And within a couple of months, her revenue grew because she was spending time on things that actually mattered instead of just maintaining her business. So when you think about your own business, what are the things only you can do? Not because you're the only one capable, but because they're the highest value tasks that actually move the needle. So maybe it's networking to land another opportunity. Maybe it's creating high impact content. Maybe it's working directly with your top tier clients. You can share an example in the chat. What's CEO level work for you? Is it sales calls? Is it partnerships? Is it strategy? Networking, yeah, client meetings, one-on-one with my clients. So here's the mindset shift that I want you to plant right now. Your job as a CEO is to prioritize those high-level tasks, even if that means stepping away from some of the day-to-day that feels comfortable. Again, it's not about doing it all. The opposite is actually true. You can't do it all. Your job is to figure out what matters most and let go of the rest. Because when you do that, that's when your business starts to grow in a way that's both sustainable and fulfilling. So let's move now into step 2, because when you reclaim your time, you now need to get crystal clear on how you're actually going to spend that time. So step 2 is all about doing a time audit. And I know this doesn't sound sexy and glamorous, but stick with me, because this is the step that can completely change how you show up in your business. Most of us think we have a pretty good idea of where our time is going. But actually auditing several business owners and doing this work myself, I've seen that we don't. We quickly think that we know where our time is going, but we really don't. So quick yes or no in the chat. Have you ever tracked your time before? I'm afraid. Yes, you will be shocked. Yes, yes, no. Okay, good. It's not something that we wake up thinking, right, I'm so excited to track my time today. Like, it's not. But from working with so many small business owners, I can tell you that so many times we think we're working all the time and we're not seeing the growth. It's exactly because of how we're using our time. So we find that a big chunk of our time is being eaten up, again, by those low value tasks. So one client I was working with, she was a course creator, and she was convinced that she was spending most of her time creating new content for her audience. But when we tracked her time for just 3 days, it turned out that she was spending way more time on those maintenance tasks, answering customer service emails, adjusting emails in her service provider, ensuring her expenses were tracked properly in her accounting system, than not really actually building her program. So tracking your time, it's not about judgment. I don't want you to be afraid. It's really about honesty and awareness, because you can't change what you're not aware of. So how do we do it? You take 3 or 5 days, make them days when you're doing your regular routine in terms of your business. Don't make it days when you're traveling or the first day back from a vacation. Have it be your regular day. And write down every task you do and how long it takes you. And I want you to be specific. So I don't want you to just write down emails for 25 minutes. You have to put, for example, answered client emails for 25 minutes or followed up with potential partners for 15 minutes. And I know it feels tedious, and trust me, this step is critical, because the clearer you are about where your time is going, the easier it is to be able to figure out what needs to change. And so for some of you today listening, you're going, right, Donna, like I'm already so busy. Where would I find time to start tracking my time? And that's probably a sign that you need this even more. Because what I've seen over and over again is that when businesses do this, they always find hidden pockets of time that they didn't realize were being wasted. So at least once a year, I like to run a time freedom challenge where business owners do exactly this. They come in, they track their time, they get real about what's taking up their space, and then they decide what needs to be eliminated, automated, or delegated. And you know what happens? They stop spinning their wheels on busy work and start freeing up time for things that really matter. So as we move on to step 3, once we've done the time audit, the next step is deciding what to do with that information. And this is a big one, because you're going to start making real changes that free up your time and energy. So again, as you're going through this, the mindset I want you to have is that your job as the CEO isn't to do everything. It's to decide what stays on your plate and what gets removed or handed off. So for this process, I want you to start with eliminate first. And sometimes the most productive thing we can do is to actually stop doing something altogether. So before you do that, you want to ask yourself, is this task really moving my business forward? Can I see a return on investment from the time and energy myself or my team members are putting into this task? And if it's a no, then why are we still doing it? Possibly because, well, we've always done it, so we have to continue to do it. Or we think we should do it because, our mentor or our business friend is doing it and it's working for them. But remember, ladies, we all have different individual businesses. And what works for Christine or Angela or Marianne might not work for Donna. So you have to dig in and look at your own situation and say, I'm spending time on this. Is it actually giving me that return on investment? So to make that informed decision, you're going to look at your data. Are you getting a return on investment for the time and energy? And if not, then let's eliminate it. And I know sometimes eliminating or stopping something feels a little scary. I know for me, I'm not a big social media person, and Instagram was really just not feeling aligned for me. And so someone suggested I put up a 9 grid and just post when I wanted to post and not have this hamster wheel of posting every day. And at the beginning, it felt a little scary, and I thought, oh, I don't know if I can do that. So I tested it. I put up the 9 grid and said, in 30 days, I'm going to look and see if it made a difference. Well, yes, it made a difference. I had a lot less stress and a lot less overwhelm. But what am I going to post today? Oh, I haven't posted yet. All of that was gone. And it hadn't changed my business whatsoever. My clients weren't actually coming from the posts I was posting on Instagram. So it didn't make a difference for me. I have my 9 grid, I have social presence, and we move on. So that's just an example. It doesn't have to be the one for you, but really look at, where am I spending my time? If I'm not getting that return on investment, let it go. One of my one-on-one clients was spending hours each week manually sending out follow emails to leads who had ghosted her. And her thought was, well, follow-up is part of the sales process. So I need to do it. It's important. But when we looked at the results, it was clear that her efforts weren't paying off. So we eliminated that task entirely and instead focused her time on nurturing her warm leads more effectively. And of course, she actually closed more sales and had more time to focus on other things in her business. So what can I stop doing right now with zero negative impact? Okay, next step, automate. So this is obviously always about using the tools and systems that you already have to do the hefty lifting for you. I don't want you leaving here today and thinking, right, I need to go buy 6 more tools so that I can automate the back end of my business. Absolutely not. Most of what you have already will probably have some automation in there. And start small. We're not looking to overhaul your whole business overnight. So a great example is onboarding your clients or your customers. I remember a service provider I was working with was manually sending contracts and then, invoices and etc. following up. And so once we were able to automate that, she could still have herself in it because we put her personality in the emails that were being sent out, but she didn't have to send out every email. And remember, oh, John, I have to follow up with him. It's been 3 days. He hasn't responded, right? Automate those things so that you have more time to focus on what's important. Another example is, when you have a client already, if there's certain milestones or touch points that you want to make sure you reach with them, you can automate that on the background. So just taking every small thing and saying, right, how can I make this process easier in my business? And even if you automate a couple of steps of a process, that's still time you're going to get back. Don't overcomplicate it. All right, and then the final piece here is delegate. So this is often the hardest step because so many of us believe, again, it's faster if I just do it myself and nobody can do it as well as I can. But the truth is, it takes time up front to delegate well. But again, if we don't do it, we'll always be the bottleneck in our business. As I like to say, delegation is short-term pain for long-term gain. So yes, it takes some effort from you at the beginning when you bring on someone or to show them a new task. But once they know it and they can be accountable for it and they're empowered to do it, that's when the real savings comes. So to start this, you have to think about what tasks absolutely do not need to be done by you as the CEO. What could someone else handle just as well or better? And I always remind my clients that if you have a team member or someone who can do this for you 80 to 85% as well as you can do it, then you're golden. Most things in our businesses are not life and death. And so, right, if an email gets sent out with the wrong link, it can be fixed. If an image gets sent out and it's not exactly how you'd like it, that's the time to mentor and to share with your team member how to improve. But it's not the end of the world. I remember one of my clients, she was a solopreneur and was spending time each week repurposing her podcast content for her blog and her social media. And when we looked at the data, the repurposed material was worthwhile, meaning she was getting engagement and traffic to her website. However, it wasn't a task that she, as business owner, had to do. So we figured out that this was something that a virtual assistant could easily handle for her. And so we hired someone to take that over. Sure, it took some time for the business owner to mentor and to train them and show her exactly how she wanted that content repurposed. But now my client has completely removed that task from her plate, and she's gained back at least 5 hours a week. 5 hours a week. Think about what you could do with 5 hours a week. You could put it back into your business. You could enjoy time with family and friends. Or maybe you could get back into that passion and that hobby that you once had before you started your business that you just never have time for anymore. So a pro tip, when you delegate, again, don't make it complicated. You don't need to create a 50-page document on how to start or do the task. Keep it simple. Do a recording of you doing that task. You're talking through it and doing the steps. That's a beginning so that you can pass that off to a team member and they get a sense of how you want that task completed. Then you can follow up and meet with them and take it from there. Many of my one-on-one CEO consulting clients are doing exactly this. We're identifying what can be eliminated, what can be automated, and what can be delegated, and then actually taking the steps to make it happen. It's one thing, of course, if we decide, right, I need to delegate, but it's another to actually do it, right? And that's where sometimes having accountability and support can really make all the difference. So quick exercise. I want you to take 30 seconds and jot down one task you know you could eliminate, automate, or delegate this week. Now it's Wednesday already, ladies, or Tuesday already. So you got Wednesday to Friday left. So what's one thing you could eliminate, automate, or delegate this week within your business? Event admin, yes, a VA for inbox. Good. And just when we're speaking of hiring, remember that we don't need to hire a full-time employee, right? You can have a contractor for 2 to 5 hours a week. You can start small, look at your budget, and do something that fits within the parameters that you have. Okay, so now we've cleared the clutter from your schedule, hypothetically. The next step is protecting that time and making sure you stay focused on the things that matter most. So this is where we create boundaries around your CEO time. And this really becomes important because the time you spend working on those high-level business priorities, the strategy, the vision, the growth, this is the time that you have to protect fiercely. So when you put it on your calendar, nothing else gets in the way of that outside of a life emergency. So I once had a client who set aside Monday mornings for strategic work. Except what would happen is that every Monday morning, her team would start pinging her and asking her questions. And she'd get sucked into Slack or client emails whatever was grabbing her attention. And before she knew it, that sacred CEO time that she had put on her calendar, it was gone. And she was right back in reactive mode. So we made one simple shift. And that is, we told our team that unless it was an absolute emergency, they couldn't reach her during that block of CEO time. And then she had to hold that boundary. Sometimes it's easy to set the boundary, but then following through on it is another story. So it took her some practice, fair enough. But she got to a point and her team got used to it. And her Monday mornings became her most productive and creative time of the week. Now, it doesn't have to be a Monday and it doesn't have to be a morning. You have to work with you and your schedule and your body. But the action step is to decide when your CEO time will be. Maybe it's a couple of mornings a week or a few hours on a Friday. And then I want you to communicate those boundaries to your team, to yourself, to your family, and commit to holding that line. And yes, even if you're a solopreneur, you still need boundaries around your CEO time. So this might mean actually taking your phone and putting it in a different room, or putting it do not disturb, closing your inbox, and being intentional about what you do during that CEO time. The goal here isn't perfection. Like many things in life, it's progress. So even if you only protect a couple of hours a week to work on those high-level priorities, it will make a difference. So I'm going to task you with pulling up your calendar right now and finding 1 hour block next week for CEO time. Even if it's a Friday afternoon. 1 hour in your calendar, CEO time. And when you've done, come back to the chat and say done. Good. Good. I'm glad it feels good, Helen. All right. So now what are we going to do with that CEO time? And this is how we're moving into step 5, which is building a good enough system. And this is where a lot of us get stuck. We think we have to build out a perfect system before we can hand things off or streamline our processes. But the truth is, done is better than perfect. You don't need a flawless system. You just need one that's good enough to get the job done right now for the stage of business you're in right now. It's so easy sometimes to get sucked into hearing a business owner that's stages ahead of us or much bigger than us, and we may aspire to get there. And they're using such and such software, and they've got this automated and that automated, and they can do this and they can do that. But if that's not where we are right now, none of it matters. So I want you to put those blinders on and focus on you and your business. What's one flawless system you can put out there? One client I worked with kept waiting to hire someone to help her with customer support because she didn't have this fancy system in place. She thought she needed a detailed workflow and some color-coded charts and SOPs. But when we worked through it together, she realized that she just needed a simple starting point, a list of frequently asked questions, and a process for escalating issues that this new team member couldn't handle. And that was enough to get her assistant up and running. And guess what? Over time, together, they improved that system. So here's the mindset I want you to have. Your systems don't have to be pretty. They just have to work. So start by documenting the basics. Record a Loom video of how you do something. Create a simple checklist in Google Docs. Whatever works for you. and then hand it off or start using it yourself and refine it as you go. The beauty of this step is that once you build that good enough system, it frees up more time for you to focus again on what matters most. Ditching the idea that you have to do it all and be willing to let go of what isn't serving you or your business. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. You've got the 5 steps to ditch the hustle and grind and really understand what's not serving you. But I know how it goes. We've all been here. We've attended these lunch and learns before. We finish listening to something like this. We get excited about all the ideas. We've taken some notes, and then life happens. Emails come in, notifications start pinging, and before we know it, we're right back in the weeds. So I want to make this as simple and actionable as possible. I'm going to break this down into 3 easy steps you can take this week. And I really encourage you to commit to doing these. So 1, blocking CEO time in your calendar. Hopefully most of you did that when I gave you a minute to do that. Again, it can be 1 hour. It doesn't matter the length of time, but make it non-negotiable. Treat it the same way you would a client meeting, an important sales call. And during that time, I want you to do something that moves your business forward. If you're not sure how to conduct your CEO time, I do have a free resource. It's on my website, the CEO Power Hour Playbook, which you're welcome to download. And that will kind of walk you through what I do and what I teach my clients to do on a CEO Power Hour. Step 2, conduct a quick time audit. So spend 1 or 2 days tracking where your time is going. Again, don't overcomplicate it. Jot it down on a notebook, on a Word, wherever you like. Just get it down and see where you're spending your time on those tasks. The goal here is to build awareness. And you'll be surprised how much time is slipping through the cracks on things that you didn't even realize. And then step 3, choose 1 task to eliminate, automate, or delegate. So look at your time audit and pick just 1 thing that's draining your time or energy. And then ask yourself, can I get rid of it altogether? Or is there a tool or a system that I have that I can automate? Or do I need to look at delegating this to someone else? 1 task. You don't need to overhaul everything. Okay, so blocking CEO time, doing a quick time audit, and picking 1 task to eliminate, automate, or delegate. Simple steps that can really help you make a difference this week and going forward. So when you take these steps, you start shifting away from that hustle mentality that we talked about at the beginning and constantly being in reactive mode, and you start focusing on what matters most. And that's when you truly step into your role as CEO. It takes time, of course, but each baby step along the way will get you closer. So I'd love to hear in the chat, which one of these 3 are you going to commit to today? Drop a number, either 1, 2, or 3. I'm going to commit to blocking my CEO time. I'm going to commit to doing a time audit, or I'm going to commit to eliminating, automating, or delegating 1 task. Three, block time. Okay, good. Step 2, good. Good stuff. Okay. So this is a link to a private podcast, which will help you take this another step further. So it's called the CEO Sprint, and it is about 7 episodes. They're very short, 10 minutes or less. You can pop it in your earbuds, listen to it when you're driving, doing laundry, whatever the thing is. But these short episodes will give you a practical action steps so that you can stop spinning your wheels and start leading with intention. And if today resonated with you and you'd like more hands-on support and apply this to your business, I do offer one-on-one CEO consulting. And this is where we'll look at your time, your systems, your priorities, do this together, and we'll build a plan that gives you back your freedom while growing your business. So if you'd like to explore that further, you can reach out to me, or you can book a strategic business reset. I'm happy to discuss that later. But for today, the easiest next step is to grab the CEO Sprint and start putting what we talked about today into action. So here's to working less, profiting more, and showing up as the CEO that your business needs. Thank you. All righty, so we got a few minutes left. I'm happy to take questions, comments, anything that you would like to share.
I just want to say that was so freaking good. And what made it was your voice.
Oh,
My head, or visualize a duck on the surface, calm, cool, collected, got it together. Under the water, my feet are going so furiously crazy fast. That's sometimes the way my brain is working. So your voice was so calm and reassuring. I'm like, oh, I got this.
oh, good, good.
Did
Thanks.
anybody else feel that with her delivery?
Thank you, thank you. Well, you'll find the podcast is very similar.
Awesome. I think somebody just came. Was it Viva? Did you just come? Viva just unmuted.
Yeah, yes, I unmuted because I was just going to say that everything was beautiful. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good. I hope that you're started thinking, but nobody's stressing that I got to do this all at once.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yes. Helen with her hat.
Yeah,
Helen.
I'm hiding. I'm not feeling well, but I just wanted to say this was, yeah, absolutely. Your voice was fantastic in making an overwhelming task seem manageable. Uh, and I was just taking notes, and as you can see, I am not looking the greatest right now. But at the end of this, I thought, who cares? This is my CEO time right now. I'm listening, and yeah, I don't talk like this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Helen. Yes, I'm glad it was helpful.
I think one of the things that you said that really resonated and reinforced things I already know is putting the systems in place that getting them out of my head. I know exactly what needs to be done. And unfortunately, because I know exactly what needs to be done and it's not written on a piece of paper, I can't just walk away. So that's number one task for the end of December and early January is finally sitting down, forcing myself to sit down and just establish my systems and create the checklist for things that I do not need to touch. I can just say, hey, Peter, this needs to be done. And he'll go through the 20 steps and get it done.
Right, right. So the next time you go to do one of those tasks, just record yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you click a few things wrong, just talk your way through it because then it's a starting point for your team member to take, right? And they're going to get to know you and how you operate. So, yeah.
I love Loom. If no one's using it or if you haven't used it yet, Loom is awesome. I do pay the extra little bit to have the AI component because it'll actually create full documents for you and SOPs. So that's what I use a lot of times to create my training manuals. So I know it's there. I just have to treat myself like a client.
Yes, exactly.
Marianne, you get what I'm saying? You understand?
I get it. Yeah, one of the things that I often tell people when I speak to them about hiring a VA is put a piece of paper on your desk with 3 columns. Things I must do, things I don't need to do that I can easily pass on, as Donna said. And then the third column are things you're still not sure of. So you're getting it out of your head and you leave it there for a few weeks so that as you do tasks, you add it to that piece of paper. And then you have a better, clearer understanding of things that, as Donna said, you're doing that you don't need to do, that you can easily pass on to somebody else, or you need to create training for someone else.
Yeah, good. I like that idea, Marianne. Thanks for sharing.
And Helen just made a comment in the comment box, and I'm doing the same thing, Helen. I used to take me so long Now I wait for the Zoom recording and I'm read through it and take out what is not necessary and or redundant and put it into a little template and off it goes. Isn't it amazing, Helen, to feel so productive after you've had a client call?
Oh, sorry. It definitely is. I find what I need to automate, the final step is how to populate it into my client files or Google Sheets of what to do because I love it, but then I'm still copying and pasting. So there must be a feature that can automate that I just have not utilizing. So this session just made me go, let me zone in on that and figure out how to do it because that will save me some admin time that I don't need to be spending time
Yeah.
on.
Do you use something like Zapier or Make? Sometimes those will allow a couple of software tools to connect together.
I've heard of them. Zapier keeps coming up because I do use Dubsado to automate now a
Mhm.
lot of things like billing, reminders, all of that. So I think I need to investigate that some more. So thank
Yeah.
you for the suggestion.
Yeah, there is a free account for Zapier. You can, I forget how many, but you can get so many zaps or so many automations on the free. So that helps at least to go and play with it and see if that's something, that will work for you. And then if you need more, you can pay certainly once a month for it.
And I think Amber just suggested Copilot in the chat box as well, if anyone's using LinkedIn Navigator. So the paid LinkedIn subscription or membership.
Yeah, so it's a really cool tool. It uses your LinkedIn connections and account to connect, and it has AI written in it. So you kind of give it it's almost like your own rep that works for you. So you put in all of the parameters of who you're talking to, what the services that you're providing, and then you give it like a Calendly link, and you say, you want to connect with more people. They're booking me 6 to 8 meetings a week just by automating this whole process. And I get to review the responses and see if it's okay and if I like what they're saying and approve it or change it or tweak it. But it just allows you to connect with, I think it's like 50 people a day that you can connect with. So I've grown from like maybe 600 or 700 connections on LinkedIn to almost 4,000 now.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. 6 to 8 meetings per week is phenomenal for automation just running in the background. What is the fee you pay, your monthly fee for your LinkedIn?
Yeah, it's about $398 US a month. So it's not cheap, but obviously the ROI in that is really good.
Yeah, if it's a $50 client, you're not going to spend 500 Canadian.
No.
But if you're landing $5,000, $10,000 deals, then that makes a lot of sense. Awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
And to go along with Donna's suggestion, Zapier, I haven't used Make yet, but I wanted to attend an event last week, but I couldn't get to it. IFTA, have you heard of that? If this, then that. It's another one like Zapier that helps you connect. I used to use it whenever I posted on Instagram. If I used Christine Hull Online 2 as the hashtag, it was set up to take that Instagram post and put it on my Pinterest board. So it got disconnected a while ago through some reason, and I never reestablished it. But I need to go back and take the time, like you said, sometimes you're so busy doing the stuff. It's like, I don't have time. But if you actually just took the 2 hours to learn about this, then you could save yourself, an hour or two every week. So thanks for the reminder.
I mean, at the end of the day, we really have two levers, right? Time and money. So we're either going to put our time to get something off our plate, or we're going to pay someone or pay a tool to help us, get those results without using our time. So, yeah.
I do agree with,
but those are the only ones I found.
I agree with you, Donna, and it's taken me a long time to realize that. But just as you're saying, there's a free account with Zapier, and then there's cost. If I have 10 clients a day, which is happening right now, then maybe it's worth spending the money because it will allow me to feel rested after those 10 as opposed to 10 and then doing all the copy and paste of meeting notes. So,
Yes.
you're right, Amber. It might cost something, but I think if it can remove things off my plate and give me more time, I'll be happier, Helen.
Happier Helen, I love that.
Yes.
Awesome. I don't know if Kathy's still there or if Jill's there, or Angela, if you wanted to share some tool that you're using to help, or, just an aha moment from today.
Actually, I think this has been great just to get your everybody's feedback on this, because I do feel like drowning on these social media posts because
Mhm.
it's not my my comfort zone.
Mhm.
So it's really like stepping to reassess, but we have to have that social media presence, like Donna said. We still have to do it at some level, we have to be present. So, but it's just how much time am I spending on creating the ads or
Angela, have you considered purchasing ready-made accounting social media posts like PLR?
I've heard about it. I
I
just
mean,
I
you
haven't.
could buy some like, 30, 60, 100, and then just spend an afternoon tweaking them so
Mm,
they are fit for you, and then schedule, like, just say, I'm going to spend this whole afternoon and that's what I'm going to, and then you've got it done for a month. Then you don't have to worry. Like
yeah.
Donna was saying, that pressure of, I didn't post today. What am I going to post? Then you put out something that's like, okay.
Mm, yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna look for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
For some reason, I'm getting it in my I'm getting ads for it in my Facebook feed right now, accounting PLR. So I'm like, what did I click on that's creating these ads? Anyway, I hear you. Social media
Yeah.
is a beast. A
Yes.
necessary evil.
And I guess the other piece of that too is, Angela, after you have been posting for a while, go back and actually look at your data. So are there certain channels where people are actually taking action? So if you're putting a CTA at the bottom of your post, getting people to click on something or sign up for something or register for something, are they actually taking the action? Because many times you may find I'm posting on 4 different channels, but only 1 or 2 of them are where people are actually engaging, other than my family and friends, right? And so really looking at that and saying, right, maybe if most of my clients or my potential clients are finding me on this 1 or 2 channel, I can let go of the others. So that lightens the load a little bit, because then you're not trying to spread yourself across, I don't know,
Yeah.
how many different social media channels we have now, right? But really narrowing that down to what's bringing you that return.
Hmm. Yes. And we do have a lot of, yeah, a lot of ways to get notifications, and then we have to check every bubble at every red bubble here and there. It's like 10 places that we can get the same notification. Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah, it can be
Yeah.
overwhelming for sure.
Jill just made a comment. She's not feeling well, but she did share that a few years ago she outsourced social media, and she said it was the best investment for her to make, I guess, to free up her time.
How
Going on,
would you do that? How,
going
who would
on
you?
Angela, whoops.
Yeah. Who
Going
would
on Angela's note there about everything comes in from, you get posts or comments and replies and feed from so many locations. Does anybody have a good app to, or is there an app to bring that all into one place? I just find that with clients, I'll get a text and then I get a direct message on Messenger, and then there's an email, and I would love it all to just.
Are you talking specifically about client engagement or social media engagement in general?
Well, I think just kind of All of it, really?
So I have one rule with clients. You have to communicate with me through email.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
try.
like we can talk through Facebook Messenger, but I'm not going to remember it. You can send me a text, but it may not happen. It's like sometimes I'll purposely ignore them just to retrain them.
Yeah, I've
Like,
tried that too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know. We want to be available to them. I get it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
really, that goes back to you as being CEO and setting those boundaries,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So even if you went to your clients and said, okay, starting in the new year, this is how it's going to go. It's not that I don't want to hear from you, but I need to be able to keep track of these conversations and make sure that I'm, helping you the best way possible. And how I do that is, right, and just laying out those expectations. And then, like Christine said, sticking to them.
Yeah. I know.
It's
Because I
hard.
find myself copying and pasting, right?
Mhm.
They'll send me something and I copy and paste it into email and send it to myself. And then I got all these different things that I have to kind of remember and go back through. So, yeah.
Yeah. In
Point.
terms of notifications of like from different software tools that we get, I don't know of a spot where we can consolidate it all together. I think it's more about going into that tool and saying, okay, I only want a weekly digest, right? I don't need to know every time someone likes something. I just want a one weekly report that gives me the highlights. But I think we have to go into each tool to say our preferences, unfortunately. I don't know of something that can
I think
consolidate.
if you were using like a social media tool, let's say Buffer or Hootsuite, I'm just giving a couple examples, there's hundreds of them out there. I think you can manage all notifications and responses right from that tool. But like Marianne, we manage multiple, like I manage social media for 15 people on 2 or 3 or 4 platforms. So it gets pretty crazy. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's not just our own like 3 platforms, right, Marianne? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's not even so much managing the likes and or the post stuff. It's just the communication pieces, right?
Oh,
Coming through on Facebook Messenger, coming through on text, coming through on email. It's it's just they're all over the place, and it's trying to reel it all into one spot.
mhm.
But you're right, I have to be a little stricter with them.
Boundaries, girl.
I
And
know.
I'm the first one to, I'm not saying
Talking
like,
about their boundaries and not my own. I know. I gotta clean that up.
yeah, yeah. We are very heart-centered and so giving. That's why yeah. Well, this has been amazing. Thanks everyone for sticking around. It's 1:08. This little chat afterwards was a lot of fun. Enlightening too, to right hear what other people are doing and what's working or maybe not working. Donna, that really was great. Thank you so much. I'll be checking out your podcast. As an adult with undiagnosed ADHD, those 10-minute podcasts sound great when I'm folding laundry or, driving in the car. Oh,
Oh my
adorable.
God, my son tells me I have ADHD.
Yeah.
And then he can't believe how many things I get done. Mom, you make my head spin. So it's both.
Should we do a quick photo before we leave? I've got this dog asleep on my arm. Oh, let's
I
do
have a
that.
dog sitting right next to me telling me, let's go.
Let's go. Time to go for a walk. Okay, Control Shift F4. Let's do a little smile. 1, 2, 3. Cheers. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Donna, if you could please send me, I'm trying to remember as a part of my system to get the Google review or the LinkedIn reviews link so that when I'm done my call and it's fresh in my mind, I can leave a review of the session. So if you could shoot that to me, when I send out the recap or the recording, Donna, is there something you want me to include? I'll include that last page of the your podcast, but if there's anything else that I can include to help these ladies, if any of them want to reach out to you and learn about your strategy call, that maybe you can send it to me in the next hour or so.
Yeah.
And because I've got the email ready to go to say
Great.
thanks for coming and then sending out the reply. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, awesome. Well, have a really great day, everyone. It's starting to snow, big, fat, fluffy snowflakes, which
Oh
is
my
really
God,
pretty. So glad I don't have to be anywhere tonight.
I
But I
have to.
do.
I hope it's not a bad day. I have a lot of driving ahead
Oh,
of me.
do you? Oh, be
Yes,
safe.
I will.
Anyway, I hope to see some of you next week on December the 15th. We have our MAWB holiday mixer. And as usual, we'll have wine and non-alcoholic beverages, lots of food, nibblies. And this year, I'm actually bringing in an entertainer. So Stevie James is coming in to play the guitar and sing for us, just in the background. And I also have Rose coming in from Zen Relaxation, as she is a chair massage therapist. So get there early enough. You can sign up and get 10 minutes in the chair, getting a little relaxation and wine and even some little shopping. We have some really great vendors. So yeah, if I don't see you, that's okay too. Have an amazing holiday, however you are going to celebrate it. And we'll see you in the new year then.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks again,
Thanks.
everyone.
Donna.
Bye.
Thanks, Christine.
Thank you.